Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. 2 days after living off the court in Game 3, Grizzlies star point guard Ja Morant listed as doubtful for Game 4 against the Warriors tonight in that second-round NBA playoff series. Memphis knows how much it relies on Morant, but was also able to win without him in the regular season, winning 20 of the 25 games he missed with injuries. ESPN NBA analyst J.J. Redick.
They're better defensively without Ja Morant. If they can get Desmond Bane going, his usage rate, his stats in those 25 games when Ja was out exceeded what his production levels when Ja was in the game.
Game 4, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Former Michigan State star Adrian Payne, the 15th overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft, was shot and killed in Orlando, Florida early this morning. He was 31 years old. A man has been arrested for that shooting. NHL Avalanche start goaltender Pavel Francouz in Game 4 against the Predators tonight in place of the injured Darcy Kemper, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN TV. NFL, the Giants released quarterback James Bradbury after failing to find a trade partner.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Hope you had a great weekend. A belated Happy Mother's Day to all the moms. Hope you had a great, awesome, relaxing Sunday and we're taken care of and all that good stuff. Back ready to roll. LSU baseball takes 2 out of 3. Todd Walker will join us here in about 15 minutes. I want to start with the LSU-Bama series, and we'll kind of evolve the conversation with T-Dub here in about 15 minutes from right now. Beth Torina will join us next hour as Tiger softball teams get set for the SEC tournament later this week. A lot to get to, including the latest on Jarvis Landry, possibly being signed by the New Orleans Saints, and unfiltered executives on the NFL draft. Wait to hear what some of them had to say about the Saints. We'll get to that coming up. So LSU baseball, they take 2 out of 3 in Tuscaloosa. It was unconventional, but if I had to sort of boil it down into how Jay Johnson is managing this roster right now, he is having to manage. I mean, he's having to, in some ways, overmanage everything in every situation, but he's doing so and maximizing what he has. Friday, you didn't get a great outing from Mikal Hilliard. He only went 4 innings. He started the 5th and was lifted. But when LSU put up the 5-run 5th, I think it's where Jay Johnson had to pivot. When LSU had that lead, he went all in to win that game on Friday. Riley Cooper came out of the pen and went an inning and 2/3, so you extended Cooper to 23 pitches. Raiselman followed with 30 pitches. Jacob Hasty came in, and then Gervais pitched the 9th and needed 18 pitches to get through it. So Jay was all in on that Friday night to win the opening game of the series. And look, I mean, you put up a 5-run 5th, and then you gave it right back in the bottom of the 5th, and then Dylan Cruz comes up with a big 2-out single for the go-ahead. What a recurring theme that was on the weekend with Cruz. But he gets you the go-ahead single, you're up 6-5, and your bullpen closed it out. LSU had an advantage in the bullpen in this series, and they magnified it. So after you win the first game of the series, you look at game 2, and knowing that you're probably not going to go to any of the guys that I just mentioned, you needed one of two things to happen. You either needed Blake Money to revert to form from the beginning of the season and go deep into a ball game and go 7 innings of 2-run baseball, or you needed to pound the baseball and just win a score fest. Neither of those things happened. I'd say LSU played its second to worst game of the season. The worst game they played all year was that first midweek game when they played at Tech. It was cold and rainy. They committed 5 errors. It was awful. They lost 11-5, 11-6, whatever it was. That was terrible. This was a close second, and the stakes were much higher in this game. Nothing went well for you. Blake Money did not record an out in the ball game. You committed 3 errors. You dropped 2 pop-ups. You airmailed a throw to first base. It was just, aside from Dylan Cruz, it was just really bad on Saturday. If there was one silver lining, it was that Grant Taylor came out of the pen and gave you 4 innings, and then Ty Floyd followed with 4 innings as well. And Ty Floyd, as sort of a little tangential piece here, if Ty Floyd can develop some consistency, he's going to be a really good pitcher. I mean, we know his fastball is a plus pitch, and he threw the breaking ball for strikes. It was really good on Saturday. 4 innings pitch, 1 run on just 2 hits. He struck out 5. He walked just 1. He was awesome. Like, that Ty Floyd has a role in every weekend series. That Ty Floyd. But the challenge is you don't know when you're going to get that Ty Floyd. But you got him on Saturday. It was big because with Taylor and Floyd eating up 8 innings, it allowed you to save all of your arms for Sunday. And so it allowed Jay and Jason Kelly to be able to play matchup games and to go into high leverage situations, and they did it beautifully. After the misery of Saturday, LSU comes out and gets 3 runs in the top of the first. RBI single by Jordan Thompson, 2-out RBI single by Drew Bianco. We'll talk about the lineup here in just a second as well because of the Berry injury. But you put up a 3 spot, Bama comes back, and they're touching up Dutton early. Double, run comes home. You got runners on base, 2 outs. And Jay Johnson hooks Sam Dutton. And Dutton's face was, he was in disbelief that he was getting hooked. But you had all of these arms. And you were in a situation where you had such a bad night Saturday. You had really positive momentum in the top of the first on Sunday. And you didn't want to give it all back. It's 3-1. You got a runner on base. 1 swing could be a tie ball game. So instead, Jay says, I'm going to go get Hasty. I'm going to get a lefty-lefty matchup. Boom. Strikeout. You're back in the dugout. And from there, LSU is rolling. Jacob Hasty continues to be one of the most pleasant surprises of this season. He gave you 4 innings, struck out 4, no runs, just 2 hits, did not walk anybody. To have another left-handed arm develop is just massive because to this point, all you've had is Riley Cooper. And it's at a point there where you can legit have a conversation. Should Jacob Hasty be your Saturday starter? And Jay Johnson is probably going to have to make that decision this week. I mean, he's going to have options. I can't imagine Blake Money's going to run back out there as the Saturday starter this week. But, you know, you've got Hasty who's emerged. Then Raiselman went 2 1/3, and Cooper pitched an inning, and Fontenot pitched the 9th, and you got through it. But most importantly, your offense was just phenomenal yesterday. Cruz homered again. McManus homered twice. 12 runs on 15 hits, and you played clean defensively. Jay decided against a lefty from Bama to go with a right-handed heavy lineup. It was nice to see Gavin Dugas back in the lineup. So Dugas led off and DH. So Joubert went to the bench with the lefty on the bump. Dugas went 2 for 3 and walked 3 times. It was incredible. You saw Drew Bianco in left field. Josh Stevenson has really struggled against left-handed pitching. So they sat him on Sunday, let Bianco play in left. Bianco was 2 for 5 in the ball game, couple of RBI singles. He did strike out 3 times. I mean, we know what Drew Bianco is in his career. We've talked about it. When there's this much of a sample size, when you're a career 190 hitter and you strike out a third of your at-bats, you're never going to be in the everyday lineup. But situationally, there's a spot for a gamer like that. And if Jay plays a hunch and he wants another right-handed bat in the lineup and he gets it there and a guy that you can feel like you can stick in left and you're not going to lose much, you do it, and Bianco rewarded him yesterday. With Berry out, Cranford played third. Now, Cranford was 0 for 5 with 3 strikeouts, and we know what he is offensively, which is pretty much an automatic out. But If he's going to go play a solid third base, okay. When you bang out 15 hits and you score 12 runs, you can have an out in the lineup if he's going to play a solid defense like Cranford did yesterday. So all in all, you did what you had to do. You went on the road. You took 2 out of 3 from Alabama. You're at 14-10. Your RPI is in the top 20. Actually, the updated NCAA RPI is LSU at 17. So they dropped 3 spots, which is odd. But they're in a spot now at 14-10 where you feel if you get 2 more wins, you all but lock up a regional host site. A lot of heavy lifting still to do to get in the national seed conversation. You probably have to be at 18-12 and make a deep run in Hoover, maybe even win it to be a national seed. But you get a little help. A&M stubs their toe. You keep winning. You got an opportunity, and certainly have a great opportunity this weekend with a really bad Ole Miss team coming to the box and LSU feeling itself and playing pretty good baseball with a lot on the line. So to go on the road and win a series is always important. They did it against a team they should have beaten, and they did. So you keep your goal in front of you. It's unconventional the way that they're doing it. But Jay Johnson deserves a ton of credit for figuring out this team as the season goes along, for sort of building the bridge as he crosses it to get this team to the point where they are right now, where they got a lot of meaningful ball ahead of them still for the rest of May and hopefully deep into June. All right, Todd Walker is going to join us next. We'll sort of evolve the conversation a little bit, not so much specifically about the Bama series, but there's a lot I want to talk to him about. Jacob Hasty's emergence. What do you do with Jacob Berry out? What's it like trying to hit with a broken finger? We'll do all that with T-Dub when we come back. We're glad to have you aboard with us here on a Monday edition of AFR, presented by Relief Windows, our windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, and reliefwindows.com. Quick break. Todd Walker's next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Well, a lot of you moms had a great Mother's Day. Hopefully all of you moms had a great Mother's Day, and Clegg certainly helped a lot of people do that. I mentioned last week that I had a coworker that was looking for a plant for Mother's Day, and Butch over at Clegg's told me he had a lot of people come in asking what plant the coworker wanted. Well, I'll tell you that it was Charles Hannegriff, and Charles Hannegriff was looking for hang on, I'm going to tell you what it's called, a pencil cactus. Charles Hannegriff was looking for a pencil cactus because that's what Tracy Hannegriff wanted. So I texted Butch over at Clegg's and said, do you have a pencil cactus? He said, we absolutely do. A 6-inch and an 8-inch pencil cactus. And he gave me the prices as well. And Hanny went over there and got Tracy a pencil cactus. So if it's a pencil cactus, if it's dipldenias, if it's citrus trees, if it's anything you'd buy at a True Value Hardware store, you know what to do. Go to Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local. Tell them Matt sent you into Clegg's Nursery.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million-mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, baseball Tigers take 2 out of 3 over the weekend against Alabama. Some important developments, though, as we move through May and toward postseason. Todd Walker, 1993 national champion, now the SEC Network, good enough to join us. T-Dub, how are you, man?
Great. I'm a little disappointed I didn't get the Batman Joker intro. I don't got the cheer for Paul O'Neill. I got nothing.
Well, you get the Paul O'Neill intro at the top of the hour, so you missed it last hour. And the Batman thing, I don't know. So let me ask you. Okay, I can't do an interview anywhere. Like if let's say Alabama or Arkansas or whatever radio station asked me to go on, I'm sitting on hold, and 9 times out of 10, it's one of 2 songs. Call Baton Rouge or Louisiana Saturday Night. And every time I hear it, I just roll my eyes. So, do you want us to play the Batman intro, or is it just tired?
Dude, I was in my head before you came on. I was hoping to get all that,
man. Stop it, man. You cannot possibly.
I love it.
You want a medley of all of it?
Yeah.
Okay. Muse, next time Todd's on, medley of Call Baton Rouge, Louisiana Saturday Night, and Batman. If you don't do it, you're fired. Right. Todd, we were talking about this in the last segment. Jacob Hasty emerging, giving LSU another left-handed arm. I'm asking you from a hitter's perspective, how important is it for LSU to be able to throw another lefty out there?
I think the matchup matters. Arkansas at any given time can throw out 6 lefties against you in their lineup. Of course, I got a switch hitter in there. But, I think overall the matchup works. That's why Riley Cooper's been thrown out there so often, and he can get righties out too. But remember a couple of years ago, 3 lefties in the bullpen, 0.
Yeah.
And I think it's a big deal. Personally, as a hitter, when I came to the plate and they put a lefty in the game in a double play situation, I was happier about that than a sinker ball righty. Because if you had a sinker ball righty coming in with a double play situation, I was more likely to hit into a double play on the ground, But lefties, I kind of hit more line drives and pop-ups up in the air, and as long as I stayed on the ball. So it depends on the situation, but I think the matchup matters.
What about for LSU's hitters? Because I've had some mention, and you referenced that season a couple of years ago when LSU had no lefties. One of the challenges they had were their hitters seeing left-handed pitching in batting practice. I remember there was some talk about having Daniel Cabrera throw BP just because he was the only guy who threw left-handed. So how big of a deal is that for LSU's hitters also to have another left-handed arm to look at?
I like. We had Dan Canterbury.
Yeah.
So he would throw BP to us, and I liked it. Even though he's just pumping little BP fastballs in there, I liked it because you had to keep your front side closed. Even against Canterbury throwing 70 miles an hour in BP, he threw a little natural cut. And if you tried to pull off of it, you hit it off the end of the bat and hit a ground ball to the pull side, weak ground ball to the pull side. So I liked facing Canterbury and BP because it kept me through the ball. And ultimately, me facing left-handers as a left-handed hitter made me a better hitter against right-handers because with right-handers, you have a tendency to cheat sometimes, and you have to. I mean, if it's 96 middle in, you got to open up that inside, that front shoulder early. And a lot of times, as they face the righties as a left-handed hitter, we get ahead of ourselves and we try to crush the ball to the pull side before we even see the pitch. And so that causes you to pull off. When we hear about hitters pulling off all the time, that's why. But I never pulled off against a left-handed pitcher because you couldn't. You were out instantly. And so facing lefties made me better against right-handers.
You know, it's funny. I actually had this convo with Cano last week, and I don't know if you know this, but he told me like he actually even went to see if he could petition to see like if he could go out and throw BP to this team, and I mean he couldn't. But
yeah, and that the answer to your question, Matt, is I think that'd be great. I think that would help. He petitioned. I guess he couldn't because he's not on staff or whatever. But how interesting is that's kind of like sort of a little bit of a conundrum they face. Do you think what do you think LSU should or will do on Saturdays with Blake Money continuing to struggle in that role? It seems like Jay's looking to make a move. Would Hasty make sense, or is there someone else that seems sort of obvious? Well, the only way I know to answer that is to look at what Ole Miss did. They had 3 guys struggling on the weekend, so they mixed in 2 bullpen guys, and it's worked out pretty well. You know, Dylan DeLucia threw the complete game against Mississippi State a few weeks ago. He was in the bullpen up until a week before that start. And then Hunter Elliott, also a bullpen guy. So that's their Friday and Saturday night guys over the last 4 weeks. It worked for Ole Miss, at least in the interim. So why not pull a bullpen guy and make it kind of you call it a staff day, but it's really not. Just see how far you can go. But Dutton's obviously doing a good job, and Mikael Hilliard's holding his own he's just what I would call just bettering through it, right? Isn't Mikael a fifth-year guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, Mikael's just confidence, veteran, just doesn't throw hard, but he outthinks hitters and he doesn't walk anybody. And that's really, the makeup of a guy that can win for you. And maybe you find one of those guys in the pen, but the pen's ridiculous. I mean, right? I mean, Gervais, Collins, Vetmere, Fontenot, all of them sub-3 ERAs. So, I mean, you've got your choices.
Raiselman as well. Yeah, I mean, they are deep and loaded. There's no question it's a strength. Todd Walker's with us. Jacob Berry, this is a really, obviously massive development. He's got a broken finger on his throwing hand. So let's talk about this 2 ways, Todd. The offensive side and then obviously the defensive side as well. With a broken finger on your throwing hand, is it even reasonable to think that Jacob Berry could play third base?
Doubt it.
Okay.
I mean, imagine the throw all the way across the diamond like that. I think you might get away with it at second, but even then you got to turn the double play. He could play outfield, but it's a case-by-case scenario. And then can he grip the bat? I think I heard wasn't it a deal where he was available right-handed, but left-handed he had a hard time, because your right hand's on the bottom of the barrel. The bottom of the handle. You get a little more torque from that, but it's bad news. Anytime you've got injuries in baseball, we all know it's a hard enough sport to play when you're 100% healthy. But when you've got some issue or something broke and try to play through it, it makes it worse. And as I've always said, you've heard this before. I mean, winning national championships is having the talent, having somebody do something you don't expect them to do, and then ultimately staying healthy. And it looks like Bianco's getting a shot. So maybe that's a transition where Bianco can give you lightning in a bottle right there.
Yeah, definitely. Jay wanted some right-handed bats in the lineup. Bianco was in there. Gavin Dugas DH'd as well. We saw Collier Cranford get in the lineup. With Berry, would you DH him from the right side and just say go just to have the right-handed bat and let him go DH just from the right side?
I'd do whatever he says he thinks he's capable of doing. If you're not going to lose much by him having a broken finger trying to swing a bat, then absolutely you put him in there. But you got to ask the kid and you got to find out what's going on. But I don't really think it's one of those deals where a pitcher, for example, has an arm injury and you keep pitching them. That's a totally different scenario, right? Because you can make it worse. If the finger's already broke, snip it up and roll if he can handle the pain and grip the bat.
Yeah. Did you ever deal with anything like that? A finger, a hand, a broken finger, hand, anything like that, try to swing?
Nope. I didn't have an injury my entire life until I was trying to turn a double play against the White Sox. Carlos Lee came in and cut my left knee out from under me, and I tore my MCL and I was out for 8 weeks, I think. That's my only injury I've ever had.
I broke a pinky playing Foursquare once when I was in like the 5th grade. That happened.
Did you play after that? Did you play Foursquare with a broken pinky?
You know what I did? It was on my right hand. I actually pitched. I was a pitcher on my team. I just with a splint on my pinky, I would just pitch with 4 fingers and keep that thing cocked out to the side and kept playing. So I guess when you're 10 years old, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, that's right. Before this gets any further, I want to clarify that I like your intro to these radio interviews, right? Not the fact that I was Batman there and the Batman theme. I'm talking about your Joker with Paul O'Neill chant with I'm a Lucky Girl.
God.
That deal. Is that the top of the hour deal?
That's the top of every hour. Yes, the here we go.
It.
Yeah, so that's when
that's what I'm talking about.
So you've come on usually at 5 o'clock. That's usually the slot when you come on, I believe. So when we've had you on at 5, at 3, 4, and 5, that's when we play that top of the hour. You know what? Play it again. If Todd Walker wants the AFR intro, damn it, give him the AFR intro. Here you go, Todd.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
There it is. And you know what, Todd? Muse, give him a Paul O'Neill. Just give him a Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
There you go, T-Dub. Does it feel?
Now,
do you feel?
I can go the rest of my day in peace.
I'm glad you feel better now. If I could get you in the zone. See, now I know. Like, you're either only top of the hour or we're doing the whole show intro anytime you come on.
Whoever came up with that's legit.
I actually produced that myself like 12 years ago when the show started.
Well,
so
there you go.
So I guess I'm legit at some point. Hey, but real quick before you go, a couple more I do want to ask you. Big picture, SEC. So Tennessee lost their first weekend. Obviously shows how hard it is to win all of your weekends in baseball, especially in the SEC. Do you worry at all that maybe anything was exposed there with Tennessee this weekend?
I don't know if they're exposed, Matt, but I got 2 stories on you that makes that whole situation scary.
Okay.
One was 2013 Vanderbilt went 26-3 in the SEC. They didn't get out of the Super. They lost to Louisville. Last year, Arkansas ran through everything, won all 10 weekends, won the SEC tournament. They were winning everything and looked like there's nobody that's going to beat them. I called that Super Regional. They won the game 21-2 against NC State. And within 48 hours, their season's over. They didn't get out of the Super Regional either. So those are the 2 stories that make you understand it's baseball, the game of baseball. And, you have 2 bad days, when the regionals start, and that's it. But I don't know if they're necessarily exposed. I just, and like I think I told you on your show last time that we talked to Vitale on the phone, and he said, we're going to get punched in the mouth at some point. It's just minimizing the damage, because he knew that this was coming. And if getting punched in the mouth means you lost 2 out of 3 to Kentucky in Lexington, then they got to pick up the pieces and roll on. It might be the best thing that's ever happened to them.
Yeah. Hey, when you look at the standings, Tennessee's at 20-4, which is still incredible. Arkansas 16-8, and then it's LSU and A&M at 14-10.
Yeah.
When you kind of put ear to ground and look at the national landscape, do you think this is an LSU team that with a strong finish could push toward a national seed?
That's a stretch, but I do believe that they probably should host a regional in Baton Rouge, which is good news. Their RPI is at 17. They got 14 wins. I think they need to go 3-3 the rest of the way. Who they got? Ole Miss and Vanderbilt.
And then Vanderbilt on the road, yeah.
Yeah, that's not 2 rollovers, but they need 3 wins. So even if they lose a series 2 out of 3 and win the other one 2 out of 3, I think they get to the 17 win mark and host a regional. If they go 6-0 to your question and win the West, yeah, they're a national seed. But if Arkansas wins the West, then I don't know if LSU will host a Super.
Okay. Todd Walker, SEC Network, of course, former Tiger great. Man, we always appreciate the time. We'll make sure that we prepare appropriately next time to make sure that we've got the full hour intro.
And here we go.
I love it.
All right, see you, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Help me out, Muse, if you would with thanks. My whole thing over here is just everything's just flashing and circular. My computer's all messed up because it's a day that ends in Y. So of course, it's after further review. We appreciate Todd as always for a couple of minutes. Interesting perspective there. It's good comp. You talk about potentially with Ole Miss, who swept a weekend against Missouri to kind of get themselves at Ole Miss at 10-14 in the league. They're coming to Baton Rouge this weekend. It's obviously not been a good year at all for Mike Bianco and the Rebels, but 2 weekends to go at 10-14, they could push toward an NCAA regional berth. I mean, they're not going to host anything, and it's not going to be pretty, but like you're sitting there at 10-14, they come win a weekend in Baton Rouge, put themselves at 12-15 going into the final weekend. I mean, LSU got in last year at 13-17, so it's doable. It is doable to get in with a sub 500 SEC record. So Ole Miss is coming in playing for something now. All right, it's after further review. We're glad you're with us here. Always a pleasure to remind you about our friends over at GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999. Home buy, refi, construction loans. That's GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Don't let those rates bump again on you. Get locked in to your low rate right now and go buy that home of your dreams. GMFS Mortgage can make it help. One of their local loan officers will walk you through the process. Go to GMFSmortgage.com. Louisiana's largest local lender is GMFS Mortgage. GMFS Mortgage, changing lives. All right, we'll knock out a quick break. Go around the SEC. Also, Mike Leach with some interesting comments about the college football playoff, making a comp to the Kentucky Derby. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Kentucky Derby broadcast with T-Bob was interesting. He talked about studying Archie Manning. Used very colorful language to describe it as well. It was actually thought-provoking at the same time. Maybe we'll go down that road at some point.
Did he dress up like a jockey?
No, seersucker.
Gosh.
Yeah, seersucker.
Oh, that's pretty good, too, there.
Yeah, seersucker. Clay Young walked in and didn't even recognize him. It's like, I didn't know he was sitting at the bar. T-Bob wearing seersucker. T-Bob wearing anything that's not either a costume or, a T-shirt and shorts and tights. It's rare. All right, it's after further review. We'll go around the SC next.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Baton Rouge General Hospital. On a personal level, mentioned it briefly last week, but grandfather had an episode early last week and has been in the ICU there at the General since. Today they moved him into his own room. We're just thrilled with the exceptional care that we've always gotten. Our family has always gotten at the Baton Rouge General Hospital. brgeneral.org. Of course, the Bluebonnet location, the Mid-City location, the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital, and the Baton Rouge General Express Care locations. Dutchtown, right next to Dutchtown High School, and then the two near LSU's campus, directly across from Tiger Stadium on Nicholson, and on Highland just through the south gates of LSU. You can check in online. You can check wait times online or on the app. The Baton Rouge General Express Care locations, those are walk-in urgent care 7 days a week. That's what they offer at the Express Care locations. brgeneral.org to learn more about what they treat, to check in online, or to check wait times, brgeneral.org.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years, South Louisiana always turns to Garcia Roofing and Sheet Metal. For more information, visit garciadidmyroof.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
I want to update this story we told you about a few weeks ago. There's a former Oregon offensive lineman, Doug Brenner, who was filing a lawsuit against the NCAA. If you remember, when he was at Oregon, Willie Taggart was the coach. He sued the NCAA because he ended up going to the hospital because of these extra strenuous workouts that apparently weren't approved and they weren't taking necessary precautions. So he listed Willie Taggart, University of Oregon, the strength coach, everybody in this lawsuit. Ultimately, he settled with Oregon for $500,000, but was suing the NCAA for $100 million. Well, Doug Brenner lost his lawsuit on Friday. The jury said that the jury did not believe the NCAA's negligence contributed to the injuries. So basically was arguing that the NCAA didn't have specific rules or bylaws regarding overexerting players. Anyway, so he doesn't get his $100 million. And that's somewhat significant because we are embarking in this time where the NCAA, listen, the NCAA has always been criticized. But now you're talking about the very structure and fabric of the NCAA being called into question with NIL, and when you have coaches and administrators talking about separating football, from the NCAA entirely, which I believe is an inevitability. And we've talked about it enough here over the years. But when you start to see stuff like this, a lawsuit like this had it won, I mean, $100 million is an absurd amount of money to ask for in damages. But it does get a lot of attention. And at least in this brief moment, the NCAA manages to maintain its standing, somewhat in a literal sense. But Doug Brenner, that Oregon player, lost that lawsuit. But again, he did settle with the University of Oregon for $500,000. All right, it's after further review. We're glad to have you aboard with us here. NBA playoffs, of course, continue tonight. Remember, DraftKings, they are there for you. If you want to wager on the NBA playoffs, you can do it. Bet just $5 on an NBA playoff game. If the team that you bet on wins, you get $150 in free bets at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Remember, the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the promo code Baton Rouge. You got to use the promo code Baton Rouge, one word. That's how you unlock that code. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5 on any team to win an NBA playoff game. If they do, you get $150 in free bets. An official sports betting partner of the NBA. Same game parlays are available. So the more legs, obviously, to the parlay, the more money you can win. It's all the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use the promo code Baton Rouge. 21 and older, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner Golden Nugget, Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-7-STOP. All right, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Excellence in imaging solutions. The Kentucky Wildcats.
Running back Chris Rodriguez was arrested on Sunday by campus police. He was charged with driving under the influence of alcohol and reckless driving. Remember, Rodriguez was an all-SEC pick and team captain last season. He was 12th nationally at 106 rush yards per game. He'll return for his senior season this year in Lexington.
The Missouri Tigers.
Quarterback get and a miss for Missouri over the weekend. Gabari Johnson, 4-star 2023 prospect from Tacoma, Washington, has committed to Mizzou. He had offers from basically half the Pac-12. He's the number 14 quarterback for the 2023 class. So they get Gabari Johnson committed, but they miss on another transfer. A former Baylor starter, Jerry Bohannon, who visited Missouri, announced his commitment to South Florida. There are 3 transfer quarterbacks that have visited Mizzou this offseason, with Bohannon, Jaden Daniels, and JT Daniels all picked other destinations. So Mizzou now entering the summer with 3 scholarship quarterbacks: sophomore Brady Cook, redshirt freshman Tyler Macon, and freshman Sam Horn.
The Florida Gators.
Top 247 athlete Creed Whitmore has pledged to the Gators, doing so over the weekend. He's the younger brother of current Florida wide receiver Trent Whitmore. Whitmore has primarily played quarterback in high school, but most coaches view him as a slot receiver at the next level. 5'11", 175. He's the number 223 overall prospect in the country. Picked the Gators over Michigan, Texas A&M, Miami, and Penn State.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Carolina football has got its first commit for 2023. It's a 3-star safety, Zabari Sandy. Picked South Carolina over West Virginia, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Maryland. Sandy, 6'1", 204. He's a defensive back from Washington, D.C. He's the 39th best safety in the 247 class.
The Texas A&M Aggies.
And A&M Hoops, adding former Arkansas guard K.K. Robinson out of the transfer portal. Sorry, Paul. I think I got you that time, didn't I? No, I missed you? Okay, good. Out of the transfer portal. Robinson was a 4-star prospect in the class of 2022 out of Oak Hill Academy in Bryant, Arkansas. Played sparingly over 2 seasons with the Hogs. 6 foot, 180-pound point guard. He'll have 4 seasons of eligibility remaining. When he came out of Oak Hill, he was the number 63 overall prospect in the country, the number 10 point guard. There you have it. That is Round the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy, Trey Beal, and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com. for Gulf Coast Office Products. Face-to-face sales, service after the sale, that's what you get at Gulf Coast Office Products. A national leader among Savin dealers, but they will service all different makes and models. It's Gulf Coast Office Products. GCOPnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Hope all the moms had a great Mother's Day weekend. I know we did. So a lot of you wished happy Mother's Day to Mama Scone and to E-Rock. So thanks to all those who reached out. You know, you can always text the show on the 225. It's 396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Raymond Moore texted and said Todd Peterson. Raymond Moore texted and said Todd Peterson.
Ted Peterson. Ted Peterson.
Muse, it's only 3:44.
I was listening to something else in my ear for later in the show.
Oh,
that I have to have for the show.
Oh, it's only 3:44. What's going on with your guy?
It's a little early.
It's 35 minutes. I mean, he's jumping the gun a little bit.
I know.
Wow.
Was
man
doing something for later in the show.
Woo. Yeah. 420's later in the show. You were doing something for later in the show.
No, this is for 5:30 actually.
Well, hey, let's take it one segment at a time here, Muse. All right, 420's coming, and then we'll worry about 5:30. All right. Hopefully we get there. All right. It's after further review. Mike Leach with some comments about the college football playoff and he used the Kentucky Derby winner to make them this weekend. Does he have merit? We'll talk about it next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Kids have staked out their place at Otter Medical Complex The Grove, where more than 30 pediatricians and pediatric specialists are all conveniently located under one roof, so you can spend less time driving and more time keeping your kids well. Yes! It's no wonder kids call dibs at The Grove. Otter Health Center for Children.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law offices of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, Front-to-Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to front-to-backboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front-to-Back Boat Service.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Sandon gets the rail run, and they're into the stretch. And it's Messier, Crown Pride, then Epicenter is coming up on the outside. Epicenter has taken the lead as they arrive into the final furlong. James Unification down the outside is next. They're coming down to the wire. Epicenter's ended. Reach strike is coming up on the inside. Oh my goodness! The longest shot has won the Kentucky Derby.
It's so good. That horse was 80-1. Dude, that horse cost $30,000.
Not anymore.
That horse. Oh, we're going to get to that in a second. That horse was like not even supposed to be in the Derby until like a minute before or whatever. All that. I don't even know how that works, but it's like, dude just went in there and won the damn Kentucky Derby. What a freaking stud. Literally, at this point, he's going to live a good rest of his life.
Yeah.
I mean, all he's going to do is eat grass and fruit and make horse babies. I mean, good life for him. You know what I love about that, too? And look, if you can't tell based on the very preliminary part of this segment, I know nothing about horse racing. I don't know a darn thing about it. I don't think I've ridden a horse since like Knights of Columbus camp when I was 10 years old and I rode a horse named Marshmallow. Seriously, I think that's probably it. So no clue. No clue. But that horse is like, I wish I could curse here because I could really emphasize my point if I could, but I won't. There is going to be some adult content here in a second, so I'm going to give you a fair warning though if you got kids in the car. When Rich Strike is coming, Paul, can you pull that video up again? I don't know if your view will have it, like just at the end, but you could tell there was a camera angle where the horse is dead on, where old boy like turns his head to Epicenter and Zandon, like the two that were the ones that everyone thought was going to win the race. And all right, here's the video. If you're listening, they're down the stretch. And Rich Strike's coming on the. Look at him. His head is turned. He's not looking straight on. His head turns to the right. Like he's looking at those dudes as he raced past them. Like I'm not sitting here trying to tell you horses have emotions and all that sort of stuff. But that dude knew he was in a race, and them dudes were the ones that were supposed to win. Like that was Marshawn Lynch jumping into the end zone on the Beastquake, grabbing his crotch on the way in. That's what that was from Rich Strike. That's pretty cool. And then, see, look at his head to the right.
That's wild.
You see what I mean? Look at his head.
Yeah,
He's like, he ain't looking straight, bro. He's looking at the other horses.
Like later.
He's like, here I come, B. Eat my dust. And then afterwards, the reporter on the horse in the little red jacket comes out there to do the interview, and then like your boy starts eating the other horses. He like grabs that horse's reins and is like, look at it, he's biting the bleep out of that horse.
He's got edge.
You're damn right he does. Like, I want to go drink beers with this horse.
With the horse.
He's never going to become glue.
Whiskey for my men and beer for my horses.
Reverse that. So give me some whiskey with the horse. I wish that guy could talk.
The horse?
Yes. Right. I wish that guy could talk.
You're right. That would have been
Tell
awesome.
me that story, Rich Strike.
Yeah.
Wow. I was talking to my buddy Jeff Marks, though, Walking with Tigers, earlier today. He was telling me that Secretariat, they did like a time, overlay. Secretariat would have won this race by 11 lengths.
Of course. I mean, that's just what Secretariat did, though, right?
That's so stupid.
That's
good Lord. Mike Leach talked about Rich Strike. He went onto Twitter. Of course, Mike Leach, the outspoken coach at Mississippi State. Can you imagine if you could reverse the clock like 15 years and say Mike Leach, the head coach at Mississippi State, and get your reaction? Anyway, Leach tweeted, that horse winning the Kentucky Derby today is a good example of why an expanded college football playoff is needed. That horse hadn't won all the races leading up, but it got a chance, and that's what happened. I mean, yeah, for sure. But let's not pretend like Mississippi State is Rich Strike. I mean, in a one-off, could upsets happen? Absolutely. It's why I am very much for an expanded college football playoff. But if we're being realistic, State's never going to be anywhere in the top 16 to be in a playoff anyway. So they probably wouldn't get their shot. But you better believe Mike Leach and that offense would scare the mess out of some teams if they drew a 16-1 matchup and you had to stop that. You better believe that'd be a lot of fun. So I did warn you, though, that adult content was coming. So T-Bob and I were at the at Don Juan Cigar Bar, and we're doing our companion show with the Derby. We actually talked a lot of baseball and other sports. If you have kids in the car, change the channel. Fair warning. If you have kids in the car, change the channel. If you have kids in the car, change the channel. Here was T-Bob talking about studding potential.
Well, I was thinking about this. What if you could stud Archie Manning? How much would you pay for Archie Manning's nut? Would you pay $1 million? Well,
Hour 2 next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Michelli Weighing and Measurement, Michelli.com, Michelli.com. You all right, bro? Michelli Weighing and Measurement. At Michelli, they like to say we show the world what measurement can do. 75 years in business. 75 years. Michelli has been helping businesses stay efficient. ISO 17025 accreditation is available. The biggest problem that so many different businesses, farmers, agriculture, industry, whatever it may be, industrial, the biggest issue people have right now is time. What if you need devices calibrated, but you're shipping them to a lab and it takes 8 weeks to get back? And it's something that should be 7 to 10 days. Call Michelli. They'll come to your office, pick up your equipment, bring it back, calibrate it, boom, bring it back to you. You're done. Makes you more efficient, saves you time, saves you money. Michelli.com, Michelli.com.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care. It's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Not looking too promising for Grizzlies point guard Ja Morant to play in Game 4 of their second-round NBA playoff series against the Warriors tonight. He remains doubtful at this hour due to right knee soreness. Memphis certainly would miss Morant, but the team did go 20-5 in the regular season without its star, points out Grizzlies TV analyst Brevin Knight.
Everyone raises their game up another level, but they also, you start to see it be more team-oriented because, like anybody, when you have a star like Ja, when things aren't going well, easily you say, oh, give him the ball, he'll make it right. Well, he's not out there, so now everyone else has to make it right. We have to depend on each other a lot more.
Brevin Knight on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. Game 4, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Former Michigan State star Adrian Payne, the 15th overall pick in the 2014 NBA draft, was shot and killed in Orlando, Florida early this morning. He was 31 years old. A man has been arrested for that shooting. NHL, the Islanders fired coach Barry Trotz. GM Lou Lamoriello says the team needed a new voice. NFL, the Giants released cornerback James Bradbury after failing to find a trade partner for him.
Feeling great starts with a great shave. And great shaves start with Barbasol Shaving Cream. And for a limited time only, capture your Barbasol Jurassic World collector cans before they're gone.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. Matt. I am sweating. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
Yusuf. And Mr. Toby Tomplin. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Talk to Beth Torina in about 15 minutes from right now. It is just about postseason time for the Tiger softball squad. I went and took 2 out of 3 from Mississippi State this weekend. Always love having Beth on. And I've said it for a lot of years that I think Beth Torina will win a national championship at LSU. You keep getting into the tournament enough times, eventually the breaks are going to go your way, and you're going to kick that door in. Of course, we tell the story often of Skip Ertman, who went to Omaha a handful of times and lost before finally winning, and once he did, he never lost again. Well, I guess they did lose 98, but 93. But, 92. But you understand the point. They won 5 out of 10 years. So just get there, and eventually they'll win it, and hopefully this will be the year for Beth and the crew. I want to talk about Jarvis Landry in just a quick second. We are going to have Brian Kalbrowski on with us at some point this week, maybe tomorrow. He's a NBA draft analyst for USA Today, and he's got his latest mock draft out, and he's got the Pelicans with the 8th pick. And remember, that could end up as a better pick if they win the draft lottery, but he's got the Pelicans taking Jeremy Sohan from Baylor. This was not a guy that many thought would be a one and done. He's a 6'8" wing, and basically he's known as an elite wing defender. Can you imagine if this is the direction that New Orleans went with a top 10 pick? You get another 6'8" wing defender, and you've already got Jose Alvarado and Herb Jones, 2 elite defenders, and then you add another one. I mean, one of the really interesting things about this Pelicans team, and what it will continue to be, is how do you plan for the roster spots and how do you divvy up the minutes? I mean, you're going to get Kyra Lewis back next year as well. I mean, it's a good problem to have. It's just a very different conversation from what we're used to having with respect to New Orleans. By the way, he's also got Tari Eason going 16 overall to the Atlanta Hawks. What a fit that would be if it does happen that way for Tari Eason Atlanta's defense was just absolutely abysmal. And you surround Trae Young with an elite defensive player like Tari Eason, a defensive playmaker who can also score in transition. Tari Eason would make a lot of sense for the Atlanta Hawks. So anyway, we'll talk to Brian Kalbrowski later this week about the draft, what the Pelicans may look to do. Pelicans have 2 second-round picks as well. Hard to imagine New Orleans making all 3 of those picks, but what might they do, how it plays out, we'll do that a bit later in the week. I'm glad you're aboard with us here. As always, a Monday show is brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. 288-8138, 288-8138 for Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Saints fans rejoiced when Tyrann Mathieu signed with the team, and Saints/LSU fans, let's say those that have the joint loyalty. And next up would seem to be Jarvis Landry. Jarvis has already visited the New Orleans Saints, and now the question is, might he end up here? Well, that possibility took another step forward with this report from Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland of Cleveland.com. I believe it's a Cleveland Plain Dealer. She reports that Jarvis Landry is likely moving on from the Cleveland Browns. That Cleveland and Kevin Stefanski, they feel good about their receiver room right now. Of course, they've got Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They drafted both David Bell in the 3rd round and Michael Woods in the 6th round. So apparently, Cleveland is not interested in bringing Jarvis Landry back. Initially, the word was, when he was released, they would consider bringing him back on a more team-friendly deal. They have clearly moved on now, according to this report, from Jarvis Landry. The other interesting part of this report, though, from Mary Kay Cabot, is that, yes, Jarvis Landry visited the Saints last month, but other teams have also expressed interest in signing Landry. So I would love to know what other teams have expressed interest, because I think that really is going to be the answer to this question. I want to be very clear about something first before we go any further, because we've talked about this now a few times here. We've talked about it on some other platforms where I am, and maybe I'm not making this point incredibly clear. I would love it if Jarvis Landry signed with the New Orleans Saints. I'd love it. I'd be over the moon if Jarvis Landry ended up in New Orleans. He's one of my all-time favorite LSU Tigers. I love the way he plays the game. I love how hard-nosed he is. I love that he'll split dudes in half on special teams. I love that he's tough as hell going over the middle. I love that he makes impossible catches. I love everything about Jarvis Landry. I would absolutely be over the moon if he ends up in New Orleans. Can we say, like, I just want to be abundantly clear there? Okay? My question is if New Orleans makes sense for Jarvis Landry. Because he'll be coming into an offense that has Michael Thomas, that just drafted Chris Olave, that throws a ton of balls to the backs out of the backfield. Kamara's an 80-catch guy. Are there enough targets for Jarvis? That's number one. And number two, what are they going to pay him? You've already got $100 million invested in Mike Thomas, and now you just invested in the 11th overall pick in Chris Olave. You've already paid Ryan Ramczyk. I'm just talking about all the offensive guys that you paid. Ryan Ramczyk and Alvin Kamara, and you know the drill. You're going to have to pay Eric McCoy. Do you have enough, not only cap space, but because we know you can always manipulate the cap to make it work, but do you have the desire to invest that much money in another wide receiver? The answer could be yes. We've seen really loaded receiver rooms that are impressive. Look at the Rams last year. I mean, you brought in Odell to a receiving room that had Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I mean, they were awesome. So, yeah, sure, it could work. But that's why I said I'm curious what the other teams are that have expressed interest in Jarvis Landry. Because if there's a spot where he could step in day one and be the guy, and a place where they have the cap space and the willingness to pay a receiver like Jarvis Landry, there's probably a situation where he can make more and be more involved in an offense than New Orleans. let me be clear. If Jarvis Landry ends up in New Orleans and you end up with Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, and on top of that, you've got Alvin Kamara as well, that is the best wide receiver group in the history of the Saints organization. That's not hyperbole. I actually went and looked this up today to see if anything would compare. The only things that I came up with were 2016, when both Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas's rookie year. Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, each went over 1,100 yards receiving, and Willie Snead was your number 3. He had 895 receiving yards that year. I mean, that was a massive year. 2011, which was the best offensive year in the history of the franchise, your top 3 pass catchers were Graham, Colston, and Sproles. Graham was a tight end. Sproles was a running back. So you're talking about receivers, like actual wide receivers. 2011 isn't in that mix. And then even the Super Bowl year, Marcus Colston led you with 1,074 yards. Devery Henderson and Robert Meacham were 2 and 3 respectively. Henderson had 804 yards and Meacham 722. I would take Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave over Colston, Henderson, Meacham. And I mean, I even went back to like the 2000s when, Joe Horn, and you just didn't really have a legit number 2 in any of those years. I guess later when Horn, they drafted Devery in 2003. But anyway, point is, this would be the best 3-headed monster at receiver in the history of the Saints organization if they were able to sign Jarvis Landry. Does Jarvis want to be in that clutter, that much of a room where targets may be hard to come by? For Jameis Winston, if you're going to get he's already got a healthy Michael Thomas. You just drafted Chris Olave. He can turn around, hand the ball to Alvin Kamara, or throw it to him. I think you still need help at tight end, but maybe Troutman emerges. If you give Jameis Winston Jarvis Landry also, you're talking about a Saints team that offensively could emerge as one of the best in the NFL this year because of all the weapons around a now healthy Jameis Winston. For me, the bigger question is the point that I'll keep going back to. What other teams have interest? Because there are going to be other places that can offer Jarvis more money and more targets. What does he want? Does he want to come home? Does he want to come home to New Orleans, play for a winner, play with Tyron? Maybe. And if he does, I'd love to see it. But that's the big thing right now. Who else is in the mix? What are they offering? Until we know that, I don't think we'll know what Jarvis's final destination will be. All right, it's after further review. Speaking of new places, bottom of this hour, I do want to talk about the 2 new coaches in the SEC this year with Billy Napier and Brian Kelly. Interesting piece by our buddy Barrett Sallee over at CBS about which coach is more likely to have immediate success year 1. We'll delve into that at the bottom of this hour. Let me knock out a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk to LSU softball coach Beth Torina. Always excited to have Beth on the show. We'll do that next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU athletics. Rouse's, where this feels like home. Remember, Rouse's still has crawfish, y'all, boiled and live. So if you want to swing on into Rouse's, walk in, go to the left to the seafood department. You'll see the boiled kiosk, the hot and boiled kiosk. Just grab your sack of boiled crawfish, already labeled, price, bring it to the register. You're done. They got live crawfish as well. Remember, it is at Rouse's. Also, Rouse's, now they made the announcement, the official supermarket also of the New Orleans Saints. So, Rouse's, the official supermarket of LSU Athletics, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's is Louisiana. They support our home teams. That's why we love to support Rouse's as well. Find the Rouse's location nearest you at rouses.com. You can also get curbside delivery at rouses.com. So, download the app, select your groceries. They'll go pick it up, bring it to you whenever you show up. It's at Rouse's. This feels like home.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but two NMEA-certified techs. Family-owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years, front-to-back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, I admit it. I'm biased. I'm an unapologetic Beth Torina homer. My favorite coach on campus joins us now. How are you? Thanks for the time as always.
I have got to get these recordings and stash them somewhere for when I need them. My favorite coach on campus.
Well, you are.
The throwback.
I've told you that for a long time. By the way, belated Happy Mother's Day to you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope you had a good day yesterday. But you also coached, and the game didn't go the way that you wanted yesterday. So does it? What is Mother's Day like for you when you're working and then the game doesn't go well?
Well, I took my girls with me on this trip. They came probably because it was Mother's Day. I thought, you know what, they're going to be with me. And after the game, Danica Coffey hit her first home run. It was a grand slam, right? Yeah. And my middle daughter, Tatum, she said, Mom, I don't know why you're mad. Aren't you so proud of Danica? So it's moments like that where you're just reminded, of how fortunate I am to get to do this with my 27 players and also my 3 girls growing up right here with them. So either way, it was a great Mother's Day.
That's great. Perspective does matter, and kids certainly bring that out in all of us. But you hit the grand slam. You're up 4-0. You had to be feeling good. You lose 6-5. Were you, because there was correct me if I'm wrong, but yesterday you could have ended up anywhere from 3rd to 7th or 4th to 7th. There was so much variance. Were you thinking about seeding during the game yesterday?
I didn't know that we still controlled our own destiny, and that if we won, I knew that no one could beat us in the 4 spot, which gives us the bye.
Right.
So yes. Did I talk to the team about that? No, not necessarily. I don't think they want to win. You don't have to put more pressure on them to win. They're already there, So, but in my brain, I understood the importance of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did.
So every time you're here, we always talk about superstitions as well. Like, was that part of it also? I mean, in your brain, is that clicking like you're not going to talk to him because you're superstitious?
No, that's not why.
Okay.
I just don't think they are one of those teams that plays great with extra pressure. They're fun. They're funny. They're better when they're loose. So honestly, like just letting them go play softball is the way to make this team succeed. So I think we get caught up a little times, and we have to, instead of we get to, and you know what we have to get done, this team's better when they just go play softball. So we try to keep them there.
Half the league finished within one game of each other. I mean, you say it out loud and it sounds funny, but it is kind of bizarre, right? I mean, half the league finished within one game of each other. So I wanted to ask you about the parity, and I actually this is two-part, but I'll begin with this. Like, to what do you attribute this? Where maybe you would obviously know better. Can you remember a season that was quite like this one, where there was such a clump of like all right there within a game of each other?
No, this one was crazy. A lot of things were different about this year. The pitching numbers were crazy. More home runs, more walks, higher ERAs. Spoken like the pitching coach here, trying to get the sympathy vote out here. But it was a crazy, crazy year. I mean, we still finished fourth. We're getting the 6th seed because of the tiebreaker, and you have to have a degree to figure out that thing, right?
Yeah.
But, we still finished in that top group. But it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Do you attribute any of that? I don't know if you've given any thought to this, so if not, it's okay. But do you attribute any of that to COVID and so many players that have the extra COVID year?
Yeah, without question. And hopefully in another year or two, it's going to be us,
right?
That is sitting in that spot, because our kids are so young. But a lot of them still have that extra year, that 5th year. I mean, when we played Arkansas, who won the league, and they are very deserving. They are very well coached, but they have 7 5th years on the team, and we have 1. And there is no substitute for experience, So this is a young team. We're running 6 sophomores and 2 freshmen out there every game. So I feel like we're kind of in like a basketball game, and like the clock has just expired here on us. But we had more to give, where this team is growing so much every game. I just feel like if we had that more time, they would be where we need them to be.
That's an interesting analogy. Beth Torina is our guest. And this is probably part of the reason why the regular season probably felt like a seesaw. I mean, when you all played Bama, they hadn't lost, and you ended up beating them twice in consecutive days. And the whole SEC schedule kind of felt like that. I mean, I know this is kind of like we were just talking about with all of the parity in the middle of the league, but what is it like to go through a season where you have that seesaw, that up and down, and I guess you're trying to keep your team level? I mean, what did you do this year with them with respect to that?
It's not the funnest I've ever done. Luckily,
I love
this group. I love this group so much. I mean, we've rarely gone on a trip anywhere without someone telling me how respectful and awesome they are. And I have to agree. And I haven't had every season like that. But their lack of consistency at times is like, it almost makes winning like a relief instead of like an enjoyment at times, because you just have to get it done, because we put our backs against the wall a lot of times we were trying to count up our number of 1-run losses we had this year. And it's too many, it's games that we need to win. And that I think as this group ages and gains experience, those things turn into wins, and they're a very special group.
Beth Torina is with us. The Tigers will open up conference tournament play against Mississippi State on Wednesday. Does it benefit you all having just played Mississippi State? Does it matter?
It benefits my life and my time, because I've already watched all their film.
Right. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
I've watched every game they played in league play this year already, just this week. So, I'll still go back and review it and review the mistakes we made this weekend and the things we had success with. But in a way, it's kind of nice not having to research a whole new team. So I'm trying to take that angle.
It's single elimination. If you win, you'd play Tennessee. I guess it doesn't matter if I ask you if you like the format, but you haven't played Tennessee yet. So how do you prepare for the tournament? Like, is it all Mississippi State, or do you start to think ahead about how you'd handle things if you do advance?
No, I mean, I think today we're gathering all of our Tennessee film and getting everything together. So if we're put in that spot, we're not, you know what I mean, searching and scrambling. So we are definitely getting organized. Yet our focus is still on Mississippi State, of course. But we're organized so that we can make a run in it for sure.
Okay, give me your latest superstition.
Oh, man, latest superstition. I don't know if I have a lot of new ones. I mean, I have crazy ones. I did, you know, when the pitching turned around for us this year, I did switch pins.
You switched
I
pins?
made the move.
Okay.
Yes, I did. I made the move from purple to teal, and or maybe I went from teal to purple. Okay. So I did make a switch there, and really things turned around right about that moment. I give myself every bit of credit for the pen switch.
That is obviously a massive deal. The color of your ink in your pen is clearly why the pitching turned around. Nothing to do with your ability to coach or the talent of the team. But
you got it.
You did also tell me at one point, like, didn't one of your daughters give you like a toy or something you kept in your pocket every game?
Oh, it's still there. It's still there. I have a rock and a piglet. When I wear that jacket, I don't always wear it, but sometimes I go in there, I'm like, oh, the rock jacket. Yes, this is definitely going to be lucky for sure.
Are you going to break out the rock and or piglet jacket for the SEC tournament?
I don't know. I mean, the things that I try, you know, like we have our little like card sometimes that gives the signs. You know, I'm always like, oh, maybe if it's the left-hander, I should put it in my left pocket. If the right-hander, put it in my right pocket. Or, you know, like maybe if I'm holding it, then that means I'm going to have to use it. So there'll be people on base. I mean, we'll try anything. We still got the zippers going. You see the team with the zippers open. You let the hits out. You unzip when we're on offense, and you zip back up when we're on defense. So
do you ever think I'm crazy?
That I'm a crazy person?
Yes, exactly. Do you ever think I'm crazy?
Well, I took this job, right?
Yeah. Well,
but I just think it's fun. It's all in good fun. It just keeps it interesting. I mean, 56 games is a whole lot of games. So I think you got to keep it light.
It is, and the fun part is here now. I guess it's all fun, but the fun part when you get into the postseason and all that worked on the regular season gets to manifest in the postseason. We're looking forward to following the Tigers as always. Wednesday, it's an early first pitch, right? It's 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
It is.
All right, so out in Gainesville, 11 a.m. Wednesday. Of course, you can listen to the Tiger softball team on our sister station, Talk 107.3, excuse me, at 11 a.m. on Wednesday for the Tigers and the Bulldogs. She is Beth Torina. Good luck, Coach. We'll bother you at some point down the line, as always, and we always appreciate your time.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Send my best to Drew.
I will. You know I'll do it. We'll see you later. That is Beth Torina. She's my favorite. She always asks me about Drew. But she's awesome. And I'm telling you, she is going to kick that door in eventually. Like that team is going to win a national championship. I don't know if it'll be this year, but it's going to happen. And I'll be thrilled for her when it does. All right, it's after further review. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little LSU football when we come back next. Good piece by Barrett Sallee over at CBS about Brian Kelly, Billy Napier. The two new coaches in the conference at the powerhouse programs. Who's more likely to have immediate success? I'll run through his argument. I have some thoughts on it as well. We'll get to next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Darren James and Associates, powered by eXp Realty. Every home listed by every company, all in one place. Agent225.com. Agent225.com. You know, if you need to sell your home, you need to call Darren James. And the reason is because nobody is going to work harder to get your home sold faster for more money than Darren James. And the proof is in the pudding. Did you know 30% of buyers are first-time home buyers? If that's you, you need an experienced agent that knows the market, that knows if you're thinking, hey, this is a first-time home, and in 5 to 7 years I might be looking to sell and our family's going to grow. Whatever specifically you're looking for, whatever area of town, what questions you have about the market, Darren's experienced enough, and he can answer those questions for you to make sure you end up in that home of your dreams. And he always has a way of making you feel like you are his only client. 335-7666, 335-7666, or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Come on over to
Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle. It's an easy and stress-free process. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Last week, Ross Dellinger was with us, and he was out in Phoenix, if you recall, at the conference meetings. And that's when a lot of the NIL, NCAA story started to happen. Ross wrote that big, long feature about the collectives around college football. And that's why we had Ross on the show, to talk about that piece. And in the days subsequent to that publishing, the NCAA essentially said that this week they were going to release guidelines about how they plan to handle NIL collectives and pay for play and recruiting inducements, etc. Just during that break, I saw this tweet from Ross, and you go follow him on Twitter at Ross Dellinger, or you can go to SI.com. The news is NCAA Board of Directors have adopted NIL guidelines that clarify existing bylaws prohibiting boosters from recruiting. As Ross reported last week, schools with boosters who have induced prospects through NIL will be investigated, including past deals. Now, he adds, the retroactive piece was described to Sports Illustrated as, quote, "We can't go after every little thing from the past 10 months, but we can pursue the egregious violations. New violators will, of course, be investigated. I have not, full disclosure, I have not had time to read the entire report. That was just the 2 tweets from Ross. I will, in the break in the top of the hour, read through that, and that to start hour 3, I'll give you a full reaction to it. So give me about 25 minutes, and we'll circle back to this and do a full reaction piece. But, again, you can go read it up at SI.com. The NCAA has clarified and adopted guidelines clarifying bylaws prohibiting boosters from recruiting. So, essentially, I know everyone's using Texas A&M as the example, and they should be, but they're coming for you. And what penalties retroactively will be fascinating to watch, and if and or how this affects things moving forward will also be fascinating to watch. All right. So, of course, there's 2 new heavyweight coaches in the SEC this year. Brian Kelly at LSU, Billy Napier at Florida. Coaches at heavyweight programs, I should say. And certainly Brian Kelly, with his track record, having played for a national championship, made 2 college football playoff appearances, he has far more skins on the wall than Billy Napier. But we are talking about Billy being a very successful young head coach, first time at ULL, and now taking the reins at Florida, and we know the drill. Essentially, Barrett Slee at CBS was asked to break down the 2 situations to see who's maybe set up for immediate success. It is worth mentioning that Barrett writes in no uncertain terms, says that Brian Kelly will win a national championship at LSU, which I agree with him. I think all of us agree at that point. The last 3 coaches at LSU have won national championships. There's no reason to think that Brian Kelly won't be next. As for Florida, he points out Anthony Richardson is there at quarterback. The running back room in Gainesville runs 4 deep. Ventrell Miller, who we got to meet last year at SEC Football Media Days, he's back to lead the linebackers. And the division, the SEC East, is obviously more manageable. The SEC East feels like Florida and Georgia and everyone else. And I don't think anybody would disagree with that. That's a very realistic way of looking at the SEC East right now. You could make a case that Kentucky maintains that perch as number 2. Maybe Tennessee with Hendon Hooker back at quarterback and that really dynamic offense is the second best team in the SEC East. Maybe it's Florida. Point is, you can make the case for several different teams. As for LSU, he points out that the good news is that LSU has a healthy quarterback battle with Brennan and Daniels and Nussmeier. The running game is solid. Points out the deficiency on the offensive line where they were second worst in sacks allowed last year, and you lose 4 starters. That might actually be addition by subtraction. We'll get back to that. But what Barrett does point out is what I think is a very fair point. With so much roster turnover, it's almost impossible to expect this massive influx of fresh faces to compete in the West. And I agree with that. I've said this a bunch, I don't think LSU competes in the West this year. I don't think year 1 is a year where you can realistically expect LSU to push to get back to Atlanta. There's so many variables. A lot of them are going to go your way. New quarterback, new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, 17 mid-year enrollees. Like, you all know the drill. A lot of variables. Some of them are going to go really well. Some aren't going to go so well. So you average them out, and you hope that it works out with a talented roster and it's well coached, and you get better as the season goes along, and you win more than you lose. And I think that's going to happen for this team. But I don't think they're going to be a contender yet. But he points out that he thinks Billy Napier has the edge for immediate success. Actually, the line is, while Kelly is more likely to have long-term success, Napier's better positioned to see immediate success this season. And that was my inclination as well. But then when I actually put these two side by side, I'm not so sure I believe that. Part part of the reason is if Richardson does emerge as a bona fide superstar, he could be a catalyst for Florida. It's a big if. Can't you say the same about any of the quarterbacks at LSU? If Miles Brennan, Jaden Daniels, Garrett Nussmeier emerge as a bona fide superstar, they could be a catalyst for LSU. I think you could argue that. Now, the schedule is a sticking point. Kentucky, South Carolina, and Missouri all go to Gainesville, as does LSU. And LSU has to go to Arkansas, Auburn, Texas A&M, and, of course, Florida as well. Both teams also play Florida State and Tennessee in 2022, and both LSU and Florida travel to Texas A&M. You know, as rough of a year as last year was for LSU, I think sometimes we forget Florida had the exact same record. Florida went 6-6 and lost their bowl game. It was the Gasparilla Bowl that they lost to Central Florida. So you have two teams that really are mirror images from a year ago. Traditional powers, a lot of talent, went 6-6, lost a bowl game, fired their coach, new quarterback, new staff, a lot of turnover. How do you manage a schedule year one? For what it's worth, LSU just had 10 players drafted. Florida had 3. And you could say, well, that's a big talent exodus from LSU. Maybe. Or maybe you could say LSU's still a more talented roster than Florida. They were just misused the last 2 years. Mismanaged, which I think is clearly true. So who has more talent today, LSU or Florida? And one of the most interesting things, and I don't lean heavily on Vegas to the sense that I'm not always talking about point spreads and lines and all that sort of stuff. It matters. It's a variable, but it's not the thing I look at all the time. But I will put more stock in Vegas projections than a sports reporter's projections because there ain't no bias in Vegas. Their bias is green. And LSU, earlier in this offseason, their projected win total earlier this offseason was 6. At DraftKings today, it's 8.5. Florida is at 9, by the way. So if you're looking at which coach may have a better year one, it very well could come down to the head-to-head matchup in Gainesville with LSU and Florida. But if you want any bit of validation on what Brian Kelly and his staff have done this offseason, the fact that after LSU lost that bowl game to Kansas State, if you looked at futures bets for win totals, projected win totals for 2022, and you could have seen LSU at 6, and now they're at 8.5, that tells you how much heavy lifting they've done in adding to this roster. At quarterback, at running back, on the lines of scrimmage, at linebacker, at cornerback. It's massively impressive. And I would say what it will come down to, if we look at at that head-to-head matchup in Gainesville, I would also say which quarterback situation ends up playing out better than the other. Keep in mind, you've got Miles Brennan and Anthony Richardson, 2 returning players. Richardson's a redshirt sophomore, so entering his 3rd year. We know Brennan's entering his 6th year. LSU's got a transfer in Jaden Daniels. Florida's got a transfer in Jack Miller from Ohio State. LSU's got a redshirt freshman in Garrett Nussmeier. Florida's got a redshirt freshman in Jalen Kitna. LSU's got a true freshman in Walker Howard. Florida's got a true freshman in Max Brown. It's exactly the same. 2 veterans, two transfers, 2 redshirt freshmen, 2 true freshmen. I mean, they're exactly the same. Who maximizes that position? I think that'll tell you. Short term. Long term, I'll take LSU. For all the reasons we've talked about why Brian Kelly was a great hire and why LSU continues to win over the last quarter century the way they have. Really interesting to look at those two side by side. It'll be fascinating. Florida, by the way, if you're not aware, opens up against Utah in Gainesville. That should be a lot of fun. As much as Utah as a program has built over the last 2 decades, really since Urban was there in 2004 and had the undefeated season. So Utah in Gainesville to open up the season while LSU will play Florida State in New Orleans. All right, it's after further review. Always appreciate you being aboard with us here. Let me knock out our final break of hour number 2. We'll come back We'll have Tigers and the Pros there with Muse. I will circle back again at the top of next hour to the NIL report from Ross Dellinger today from the NCAA. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings at Plucker, so there is quite literally no better day of the week to get by Pluckers than Monday because you pay one low price and you can eat as many wings as you want all night long. That's at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Dine-in, carry-out, delivery, Uber Eats or DoorDash. You've got NBA playoffs tonight. Boston, Milwaukee, Game 4. Memphis, Golden State, Game 4 tonight. You got a full slate of Major League Baseball. Too bad you can't go watch the Yankees tonight because they already won. They beat the Rangers 1-0. Don't worry about it, Muse. Best record in baseball. It's all good. How is Boston doing, by the way? Oh, yeah, really bad. So you can go watch the Yankees or laugh at the Red Sox at Pluckers. Nicholson, just south of campus. Bluebonnet, right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Tonight and every Monday, all-you-can-eat wings. LSU baseball tomorrow night. Remember, before or after any Tiger baseball game, you need a place to grab a bite to eat? Make it Pluckers. Where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Before we begin any electrical work here, we perform a home safety check that begins at your electrical panel to make sure that you and your family are safe. For all your upgrades, installations, and repairs, call Mr. Electric.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. Always appreciate our friends over at Relief Windows, Brandon, Holly, and the gang. Getting excited to tell you about the new corporate headquarters it's almost open. Showroom is almost open, and can't wait to to tell you when it is. It's phenomenal. They had the same group that designed LSU's football ops, design their headquarters. It's phenomenal. I got a sneak peek a few weeks ago. You'll love it when you get to see Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. Muso. Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, where Baton Rouge gets engaged.
Started off with a little bit of action from Major League Baseball yesterday. The Padres got a 3-2 victory over the Marlins. Austin Nola catching in that game. Contributed a 1-for-4 effort. The one was a single. Hit in the middle of the order there, Austin Nola. Right at 200 so far on the year, 1-for-4 in yesterday's game. And then the Houston Astros shut out the Detroit Tigers 5-0. Alex Bregman, a large part of that victory, 1-for-3 with a single. He also walked once, drove in a run, and scored 2 runs himself. So had a hand in 3 out of the 5 runs for the Astros yesterday. USFL action. The Tampa Bay Bandits yesterday lost to the Birmingham Stallions, the only team that actually gets to play at home in the USFL, the Birmingham Stallions. You looked like you had something there. Anyway, Derek Dillon, 3 receptions off of 3 targets for 22 yards, a long of 17, an average of 8.7.
Is Derek Dillon the only LSU player in the USFL?
No. Vidal Alexander.
Oh.
Also, he plays for the Pittsburgh Maulers, but I mean, we don't really have stats for the O-line. Yeah. But he's there.
Why do you hate O-linemen?
I don't hate O-linemen. I like O-linemen. I don't keep stats. I mean, look, if they kept them, I'd gladly tell you how many pancakes that Vidal Alexander had. Probably a lot.
Or you could just point out that
he played.
Pittsburgh Maulers played and won or lost, and Vidal Alexander started the game or didn't start.
Well, let's see. It looks like, oh no, they lost. They lost 21-13 to the New Jersey Generals.
Why do you only point out when they lose?
This is the first time we've done this.
Why do you hate Vidal Alexander?
I don't hate Vidal Alexander.
Sounds like you do.
I don't. He's a great offensive lineman at LSU. Great left guard there. Yeah. No? Okay. All right. Fine.
I mean, Vidal played right tackle.
He played left guard at some point too, didn't he?
He probably played every position.
I think he did. I don't know. Anyway, moving on from that. How about a career milestone for Sylvia Fowles? So we talked about it being her last season in the WNBA. That got started on Friday, but on Sunday night, the Lynx fell at home to the Washington Mystics, but Sylvia Fowles contributed 28 minutes, scored 13 points, tallied 8 rebounds, a steal, and a block. With those 13 points, eclipsed 6,000 for her WNBA career.
Got a big Sil. Big Sil, Drew Hill.
We do that every time now. I like that.
Or you could get
the song. Yeah. But it's not going to say. It's not going to say Big Sil though.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Say it really fast, it might sound like it. But that's what you like. If that's what in your brain you want it to say, that's what you hear.
Okay.
You know, like misheard lyrics.
Yeah.
Like Jimi Hendrix. Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Right.
Kiss the sky because it kiss the sky. Stuff like that. Hear what you want to hear.
And finally, we'll wrap up with beach volleyball as Taryn Clough and Kristen Nuss, they grabbed their second career AVP win. Also the second consecutive year they've opened the AVP schedule by winning the first tournament. They claimed a victory in the Pro Series Austin Open, upset the number 1 seed. In fact, on Championship Sunday, they defeated the 4th and 2nd seeded teams before beating the 1 seeds in the final. Second career victory together on the AVP Tour. The next event is the Pro Series New Orleans Open, May 27th through the 29th.
Big Suburban.
That's Tigers of the Pros.
Big Suburban.
Big Suburban?
Yeah. You know the song Beast of Burden?
Yeah.
My wife, Erica, she thought they said, I'll never be your Big Suburban.
Your Big Suburban. Nor should you be. Don't do that. Don't give in to somebody like that.
I'm not going to be your Big Suburban.
I'm not going to be your Big Suburban.
I'm gonna be? I'll never be that.
Gave you that idea.
I'm not your Big Suburban.
Nope. That's Tigers in the pros.
Presented by Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com. Hey, gents, if you screwed it up and you didn't get mom something really great for Mother's Day, great way to say I'm sorry. A gift in the red box from Lee Michaels. 2 locations in Baton Rouge. Of course, they've got the corporate location in Bocage and the Mall of Louisiana location, where Baton Rouge goes to get engaged. It's been that way for 40 years. The greatest selection of gorgeous diamonds, the highest quality diamonds that you'll find, and you will always get the Lee Michaels experience. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. lmfj.com. All right, it is after further review. Let me knock out our top of the hour break here. When we come back, a couple of things that we need to get into. Dylan Cruz honored for his amazing week. We'll get an update from Jay Johnson on Jacob Berry with his broken finger, and also Ross Dellinger with a report about what the NCAA plans to do with all those NIL violations with those crazy boosters buying kids. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Love telling you about the Williamson Eye Center. Hey, remember, tomorrow, gigantic day. It's the Let's Taco About LASIK event over at the Williamson Eye Center. Of course, it's Taco Tuesday, so make plans to attend. Get on by, get some dinner. Obviously, it'll be free, and you can answer your questions, get your questions answered about LASIK. It's for ages 21 to 45. It's the recommended age group there for LASIK. You can go to the Williamson Eye Center Facebook page to reserve your spot. They do ask that you reserve because space is going to be limited. They're also going to have food, and you will get to watch a LASIK procedure done at this event tomorrow. Again, it's tomorrow at 6 p.m. at the Williamson Eye Center on Sumas. That's on the Baton Rouge General Campus right there tomorrow at 6 p.m. Go to the Williamson Eye Center Facebook page. Reserve your spots today. It's the Williamson Eye Center, 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Bayou Ford has 0% for 60 months on new Ford F-150s, plus $500 bonus cash. We have new 2022 F-150s on our lot now. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Grizzly star point guard Ja Morant did not take part in the shoot-around today. He remains doubtful to play tonight in Game 4 of against the Warriors in that second-round NBA playoff series. It is yet to be determined whether Morant will warm up before the game. Memphis knows how much it relies on Ja, but was also able to win 20 of the 25 games he missed during the regular season. ESPN's J.J. Redick.
Desmond Bane's production went way up in those games that Ja Morant missed. And to me, that's the guy that the Grizzlies have to get going. He was fantastic in round one against the Timberwolves, but has been very limited so far in this series. He's averaging 10 a game. He hasn't had any momentum getting shots.
Game 4, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN Radio. Monty Williams has won NBA Coach of the Year after leading the Suns to a franchise record 64 regular season wins. NHL Avalanche star goaltender Pavel Francouz in Game 4 against the Predators tonight in place of the injured Darcy Kemper, 9:30 Eastern, ESPN TV. NFL Giants released quarter James Bradbury after failing to find a trade partner.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive can help you protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, and RV, and more. And if something wasn't mentioned that you have in mind, find out if it can be covered at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE, because it probably can be.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Relief Windows. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
Muso. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. Bottom of this hour, I do want to delve into, in the next segment, we'll delve a little bit into some NFL executives. Given anonymity, discussing each team's NFL draft. Tell you what they had to say about the Saints. Jay Johnson met with reporters this afternoon. I'll read this from Scott Rabalay's Twitter on Jacob Berry's broken finger. Quote, it's going to come down to pain tolerance. He has flexion at the end of his finger, which is a good sign. It obviously means he can bend it at the, that knuckle near the nail. So if you're throwing a baseball, that would obviously help that you could bend that part of your finger. If you've ever, many of you, I'm sure people have broken fingers before. You know what it's like. It's very swollen and stiff, and can't really bend it very much. It's hard to throw a baseball or grip a bat or something like that if you can't do that. The interesting thing, though, if you were watching the game on Sunday, they did show Jacob Berry in the dugout, and he did not have a splint on his finger. Normally, if you break a finger, it's you immobilize it, right? You put it in a splint, you tape it. He didn't have that. So if it's just a pain tolerance thing, I think that's a very good sign. I would not in any way expect Jacob Berry to play in the game tomorrow, and I think Jay Johnson said as much. So you go another game without Jacob Berry, and then you go into the weekend to see how he feels, and maybe it's a thing where he sits this weekend as well, and you hope to have him back for the Vanderbilt series. This clearly is not going to be a season-ending thing, but it is massively significant. I mean, Jacob Berry is the second leading hitter in the SEC. He's the best hitter on your team. He's leading your team in batting average, I should say. And it's never going to be a good thing when you're taking a guy who's a potential top 10 pick out of the lineup. So they managed yesterday quite well. 12 runs on 15 hits, and they have certainly options, but none of them are Jacob Berry. And you would certainly hope that he gets back very, very soon. Part of the reason that LSU will have a day is because they got Dylan Cruz out there, who was named SEC Co-Player of the Week this week. I'll tell you what, BT Riopelle from Florida must have walked on water. I don't know what he did this week. I don't really even care. But the fact that anybody is sharing this honor with Dylan Cruz this week is absolutely bonkers. For the week, he hit .636. He was 7 of 11, hit 3 homers, 7 RBI, and 5 runs. I saw someone point out on Twitter that at one point, Dylan Cruz had more home runs than outs. That's so stupid. Like, that's absurd. This is baseball. This is baseball at the highest level in college. And he just went and wrecked stuff this weekend. Baseball is never, has never, will never be a one-man sport. I mean, it is the consummate team sport. It doesn't matter how good of a pitcher you are. If the ball is hit to the outfield and the outfielder doesn't make the catch, it doesn't matter. So it's the consummate team sport. But Dylan Cruz was a one-man wrecking crew at times this weekend, and he was a lot of fun to watch. It is really, really fun to watch a 5-tool player play college baseball. You just don't see him much. I mean, we could even point out Bregman, who I think the day he showed up on campus, we all knew Bregman was going to be a first-round pick, and he started at shortstop from day one. And as great as Bregman was and won the Brooks Wallace Award as a freshman, Bregman's power numbers were never there at LSU. He had 6 homers as a freshman, 3 as a sophomore, 9 as a junior. He never hit double-digit homers in a season at LSU. Dylan Cruz hit 18 last year as a freshman. He's at 16 right now with 2 SEC weekends to go, the SEC tournament, regionals, hopefully super regionals in Omaha. Like, it's insanity. You're watching, I say this all the time, but it's like you're watching a big leaguer play college baseball. And it's so much fun. Like the fact, and by the way, he's got to come back next year too. It's ridiculous, but how much better is he going to be next year? So it's exciting. So congrats to Dylan Cruz, SEC Co-Player of the Week. Congrats to BT Riopelle for turning water into wine. Sure, that was a hell of a trick this weekend. But Tigers take 2 out of 3 from Alabama. They're 14-10 in the league. Their RPI is at 17. They are inching closer to clinching, to basically being a lock for a regional host site. And we'll see what they might be able to do here in these final 2 weekends and in Hoover to see if they can really propel themselves closer to a top 8 national seed. I don't think that's going to happen. That is just a massive ask to think that this team will get there. But at 14 wins, if you manage to sweep this weekend, which I don't ever want to predict that. But if you sweep this weekend, put you at 17, you go to Vanderbilt, you take 2, they put you at 19, you play into the weekend in Hoover. I mean, A&M loses. Yeah, it's doable. It is doable. A lot would have to fall into place. And I don't know, quite honestly, that I believe it will happen. But they should be a regional host site, and postseason baseball at the Box will be a lot of fun. So inching closer to that. All right, we're brought to you by Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. Hudco Roofing, HudcoRoofing.com. I would highly, highly, highly recommend. We see this all the time. Literally every day. We're redoing a roof today in University Club for a homeowner who didn't even know he had roof damage. But our field inspector called, went and did the inspection, because we always encourage you to do it, spotted roof damage, filed the claim, met the adjuster on site, got it approved. He's getting a new roof. HudcoRoofing.com. Let us meet your insurance adjuster. Let us help with insurance. Even if your claim has been denied in the past, let us go to work for you to see if we can step in and help get that claim approved to work with the insurance company. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. 288-8138, 288-8138. That's the wrong number. That's the number for Relief Windows. 364-1007 is HUDCO. But you can call Relief Windows too because they're great. 364-1007, 364-1007, or HUDCOroofing.com. Do business with someone you know. HUDCO Roofing, HUDCOroofing.com. All right. I mentioned Ross Dellinger up at SI right now has a report. And as he told us last week, the NCAA has approved NIL guidelines. And the intent is to crack down on the boosters that are essentially buying players throughout the recruiting process. The Division I Board of Directors approved these guidelines on Monday, which clarified the existing bylaws, and it will be retroactive, meaning that the enforcement staff has the freedom to investigate those who egregiously violated bylaws in the past. And I don't think it would be... Here's the... You can call it a problem. Maybe that's not the best word to use right now, but if you're trying to determine, okay, who might the NCAA retroactively investigate if it's not everyone? Too many boosters got very arrogant and have put out publicly, not only boosters, but managers, marketing agents, air quotes, for the student athletes, have publicly put out their deals. They've been made public. I mean, I shared with you here on signing day the terms of the deal that Jacoby Matthews did with Texas A&M's collective. How many more of those are there? Some were just brazen. And if you're putting that out there, keep in mind, they're not going to punish a student athlete. As Ross's piece last week pointed out, you punish a student athlete, you can have a line of attorneys ready for a class action lawsuit. But you can certainly punish that program, that athletic department. I think that will happen. Because the powers that be in college football and college athletics do not want pay for play. That's a worst case scenario for them. NIL, as it was intended, name, image, and likeness, is fine. I think everyone's on board with that. They don't want this to become buying players out of high school. And that's what clearly has happened, and that's what they're trying to curtail. So this is interesting. I'll read this line directly. Any booster or booster-led collective that has been found to have associated with a prospect about recruiting or another college team or in high school will be found to have violated NCAA rules, and the booster school is at risk of sanctions. Where they go from here will be a fascinating test case. But I think we all know the short list of schools that should be concerned today. Ross points out hundreds of deals have been struck with booster collectives, now about 100 of them, many having pooled more than $5 million in a player salary pool tagged for NIL. It's incredible. And when you are being overt about those numbers, you've basically put a target on your back now for the NCAA to go investigate. And it's pretty clear they are willing to do that. All right. It's after further review. We'll keep you posted. Let me knock out a quick break. When we come back, this is interesting. NFL executives were given anonymity to speak openly about the NFL draft. Wait until you hear what they had to say about the Saints. It's AFR.
AFR.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. It should taste like beer. More taste, 96 calories. Miller Lite.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, glad you're rolling along. Jimmy Ott here in about 30 minutes from right now. Little Otter locks for all of us who spend big on Mother's Day, trying to make some of it back. Maybe get some Otter locks tonight. NFL draft has come and gone, and The Athletic polled NFL executives and gave them anonymity to speak openly. I love this. Every year, there's a college football, Athlon does this for college football, and they talk to college football head coaches and coordinators about other teams going into the season, and they give them anonymity. So you're always going to get better, more candid answers when someone is granted anonymity. You just have to determine, do you trust that outlet, that source of the information? So do you trust that The Athletic is talking to, when they say NFL executives, are they talking to general managers and vice presidents of player personnel, et cetera? Or are they talking to the guy who goes and gets the coffee and dry cleaning for the head coach? I will go ahead and give them the benefit of the doubt here. So I don't really care about what every other team in the NFL, what they had to say about every other team in the NFL. I was more interested in what they had to say about the Saints and the rest of the division. Here is the quick write-up on New Orleans. I'll read it to you. It won't take me too long, but you'll get the gist. So this is the write-up surrounding what anonymous NFL executives had to say about the New Orleans Saints draft. Atlanta is rebuilding, Carolina is in some turmoil, and the Saints are 4-0 against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. Perhaps that is why the Saints are behaving as if they are a player or two away from contending, despite Drew Brees' retirement and Sean Payton's resignation. That is not how the rest of the league views New Orleans, with Jameis Winston behind center. They talk about trading up to get Olave, taking Trevor Penning. One exec said, quote, "The Saints were mind-boggling how much value they destroyed by trading up." Another exec noted when the Saints enjoyed their historically great draft in 2017, they selected Lattimore, Ramczyk in the first round without trading up. And they also mentioned that Hendrickson was taken in the third round as part of the Brandon Cooks trade. Also, Alvin Kamara was drafted with a high third-round choice acquired for a second-round pick in 2018. Quote, "They got solid starters in Olave and Penning, but it's just not worth what they gave up." That is the other thing that really stood out to me, is the teams who view the draft as a market and totally manipulate the market and understand how to, like Howie Roseman is great at it, compared to the teams that don't, the teams that trade up for this need or whatever the case may be. If you're trading up for Julio Jones, maybe I understand because certain guys are so gifted and talented. But Chris Olave, as much as I love him, is not one of them. End quote. So you know what I did. Since this NFL executive pointed out that Howie Roseman of the Philadelphia Eagles, for those that don't know, knows how to manipulate the market and does it, as he put, quote, "Howie Roseman is great at it." Well, I wanted to go see what Howie Roseman's track record has been in Philadelphia. He's been in Philly since 2003, but he's been in that role as the GM or VP of player personnel since 2010. So I said, okay, let's go look up what the Eagles have done since 2010 and what the Saints have done since 2010. Same GM in place, still Mickey Loomis. Howie Roseman in Philly. Saints didn't change their approach since 2010. Hell, they traded up for a punter in 2009. That ended up being Thomas Morstead, by the way. You remember what they gave up for? Nope, because it doesn't matter. Howie Roseman in Philly since 2010. The Eagles have had 4 double-digit win seasons and an overall record of 192-1. Above 500, but 100, winning record, 192-1. In that same span, since 2010, with Mickey Loomis as the GM, the Saints have had 7 double-digit win seasons and are 121-72. The Saints are 20.5 games better than the Eagles over the time that Howie Roseman has been in charge in Philly, overlapping with Mickey Loomis in New Orleans since 2010 on. That doesn't even include the Super Bowl year for New Orleans. Yes, Philly did win a Super Bowl. Yes, they did. With Nick Foles at quarterback. Whatever. And if you're really going to sit here and sell me on Howie Roseman understanding how to manipulate the market and find value, they traded up to take Carson Wentz, paid him a buttload of money, and then dumped him, eating $40 million in dead money, the largest such dead cap hit in NFL history. if you're going to say, if you are really going to make the argument that certain teams know how to manipulate the market and manipulate the draft and understand value, okay, like if that's going to be your argument, cool. You got to do better than Howie Roseman. Like, I could argue that that is a clear-cut example of how not to draft. They took Jalen Reagor in the first round instead of Justin Jefferson. A pick apart? Like, please don't tell me if you want me to actually find merit in your comments that Howie Roseman is your example of a dude who knows what he's doing. Come on. What this proves, like this is proven over and again, is that there are so many different ways to handle the draft. And if you have built up a roster that's competent and competitive, then you don't need to make 7, 8, 10 picks. Why make 10 picks if they're not all going to make the roster when you can move up, take 5 that you're confident all 5 are going to hit? If Chris Olave in 6 years from now is a consistent Pro Bowler and a 1,000-yard receiver, nobody's going to care that the Saints moved up to take him because it would have been worth it. You're not even going to question what that draft capital could have been. It's all about if you hit on the picks. And if you're convicted on a player and you're bullish and you go get him, okay. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But the same can be said how it goes both ways. But the other part of this, too, that I got to point out is where it started, is the lead. Where they wrote, Atlanta is rebuilding, Carolina is in some turmoil, and the Saints are 4-0 against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. Perhaps that is why the Saints are behaving as if they are a player or two away from contending, despite Drew Brees' retirement and Sean Payton's resignation. That is not how the rest of the league views New Orleans with Jameis Winston behind center. That's fine. The rest of the league doesn't have to be sold on New Orleans or Jameis Winston. They could question what the Saints are going to be now that Sean Payton is gone and obviously losing Drew Brees. That's fine. If you want to question all that, it's okay. But the Saints' confidence in being a couple of players away isn't solely in the fact that you're 4-0 against Brady and Atlanta and Carolina are rebuilding and in turmoil. That helps because you're going to play 6 games of your 17 against those 3 teams. But it's more the fact that you were 9-8 a year ago. You were 9-8 despite starting more players than any team in a single season in the history of the NFL. You were 9-8 despite starting 4 different quarterbacks, including rookie 4th-round pick Ian Book on Monday Night Football in a game when your whole roster, including your head coach, were gone due to COVID. You were 9-8 despite 4 starters on your offensive line missing a bulk of the season. Your best interior defensive lineman was suspended for 6 games. Your starting linebacker was injured week 1 and missed a handful of weeks, and you were starting a rookie alongside DeMario Davis and Pete Werner. Y'all, I mean, do we need to talk about Deontay Harris having to miss time? You were 9-8, and a Rams collapse at home in week 18 against the Niners from being in the postseason. Or a COVID-disrupted Monday night game against the Dolphins away from being in the postseason. Like, they are right there. I mean, no one is ever going to listen to this show and leave thinking, man, that guy is just an absolute unapologetic homer. No one is ever going to listen to me and say that. If anything, I get accused of the other side of it, of being too critical of the teams that I talk about and cover and follow. But this isn't a team that won 4 games a year ago. They were 9-8. They had a winning record. Yeah, listen, the Sean Payton variable, I think, is legitimate. Like, we saw it in 2012. You took Sean Payton off of the Saints, no matter how he put everything in place. Do your job. There was Aaron Cromer and Joe Vitt, all these guys that, like, were in place to be keep it all, and you had you still had Drew Brees, and it was terrible. It was literally the worst defense in the history of the league. They missed the playoffs. It went 7-9, missed the playoffs. So I'm not going to, tell you Sean Payton's absence won't matter. It may. It may be the thing that causes this thing to unravel a little bit. Maybe. Maybe not. When I look at the roster, which was decimated a year ago and still went 9-8, and now you're getting Jameis back healthy, you're getting Mike Thomas back healthy, you got nothing out of your first-round pick last year in Peyton Turner. He's going to be back healthy. Now you've drafted another receiver, another great weapon for Jameis Winston. You've drafted a left tackle. You've solidified your defense with 3 players that you drafted you think will help fortify. You added Tyrann Mathieu in free agency and Marcus May. You got younger on the defensive side of the ball. Man, what am I missing? I mean, the Saints today, and I've said this all offseason, say it again, the Saints today are better than they were week 18. They are a better football team today, healthy, than they were week 18. So I don't think it's just, they beat Tampa twice, so I think they're a player away. I think they're a player away. Doesn't mean you're going to win the Super Bowl. But in order to do that, you have to get into the playoffs. And this is a playoff team. The New Orleans Saints are a playoff team in 2022. Wonder what Howie Roseman and the Eagles will be doing in January. It's AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, or 1hourbr.com. I was having a conversation today with a buddy of mine who his AC is about to go kaput. He's going to have a whole new install. I told him this because I learned this when I had River City's 1 Hour Air replace my AC about 2 years ago. I've learned this through the process, and it's true. You could have 100 different technicians install an HVAC unit, and you could get 100 different results, meaning the quality of the install matters for the life, longevity, and performance of that HVAC unit. You can trust River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clocks on the side. Call for that preseason AC tune-up, 752-0001.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Come on over to Corval Toyota to pre-order your next vehicle, and you'll never pay over MSRP. Browse, reserve, pick up, and enjoy. It's that simple. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Show up today. Next day. I mean, you can't do anything about the past except for learn from your mistakes. So show up to the ballpark like you won last night and go out and compete.
It was Tyler McManus on what Jay Johnson told the team after they lost on Saturday. And Saturday was ugly, y'all. It was just, I mean, it's a coin flip. It was that or that game against Louisiana Tech the first week of the season where they committed 5 errors. Remember? I don't know if you remember that game, but it was cold. It was rainy. That Tech field is turf, and the ball just bounced all over. It was terrible. I mean, it was as bad a game as they played all year until Saturday. But they bounced back in a big way, in large part thanks to Tyler McManus, his 2 homers in the ball game. It was interesting because, by the way, hat tip to Leah Vann of The Advocate, who had her phone rolling on record on this audio and sent it our way so we could play it. So we appreciate Leah. Make sure you follow Leah on Twitter as well. The big surprise maybe that many had was the quick hook on Sam Dutton, who went just 2/3 of an inning, and then they brought on Hasty for the lefty-lefty matchup with a runner on. Jay Johnson after the game on why the quick hook on Dutton.
They hit 3 balls really hard. I didn't think they would be able to hit Hasty, and I talked to him. It was either going to be yesterday or today that it was going to be a short start, and then we were going to go right to him. I liked how he matched up with them, so it was kind of in the plans, to be honest with you. Would have liked to have been the second or third inning, but that was the time to do it, especially after we scored 3 in the first.
They were expecting it to be a quick start, but was not expecting it to be 2/3 of an inning. But it turned out to be right. I mean, they were barreling up balls on Dutton. Hasty came in, lefty-lefty matchup, got the strikeout. He was awesome, and I think Jacob Hasty has made a really compelling argument to be your Saturday starter. It's unfortunate that Blake Money hasn't been able to carry on the performance that he had in the pre-conference schedule when he was dominant. I mean, he looked every bit an ace in the pre-conference schedule, and it just has not carried over in SEC play. So you have to do something in game 2. You can't stay with the status quo. What is it? Maybe it's Jacob Hasty. The question is, does Jay Johnson value having Hasty available for multiple games in a weekend as opposed to just one in that game 2 start? Sure, we'll find out this weekend when LSU takes on Ole Miss. All right, it's After Further Review brought to you by South Point Volkswagen. I'm so excited. Got a call today. My Atlas will be ready tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, remember, or care, I was hit from behind in December, a few days before Christmas, because parts are so difficult to get right now in everything, just like everything with supply chain. I haven't had my car since December. I've been in a loaner since December. But that changes tomorrow. I'll get my Atlas back. 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. So fun to drive. I'm excited to get it back. Airline just north of Highland, southpointvw.com. New, certified pre-owned. in Baton Rouge and online. Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer is South Point Volkswagen. What's your direction? We are going to continue following a lot of these NFL storylines throughout the offseason, especially as they could affect the Saints. One of them indirectly affects the Saints because it's largely assumed that Baker Mayfield could end up with the Carolina Panthers. Carolina and Seattle were the two teams that have, by and large, been the assumed destinations for Baker Mayfield if he's out in Cleveland. Obviously, he ends up at Carolina. It's very relevant to New Orleans because you're going to play him twice. Pete Carroll was on Sports Radio 93.3 KJR FM in Seattle, and he was asked point blank if they were going to trade, if they had plans to trade for a quarterback.
We're always competing, and I know that I'm not saying anything you didn't think I was going to say, but fortunately that's always been the way we've operated, and it fits again. So we're looking. I don't see us making a trade for anybody at all. I don't see that happening. But we're certainly going to continue to be open to the chances to help our club, and meanwhile we're just going to be battling and competing our tails off. But that's there's always possibilities, so we keep open to that.
Remember, it said we're not going to trade for a quarterback. Well, remember, Baker Mayfield also is guaranteed $19 million this season. If the Browns were just to release him, then any team could sign Baker to any contract that they wanted. If they trade for him, you have to give up an asset to get him and pay him the $19 million. So it doesn't really make sense because Cleveland is aching to trade Baker Mayfield. They want to get an asset for him, the former number 1 overall pick, but they just signed Deshaun Watson. So the rest of the league's basically got him by the yin-yang. So the very astute follow-up question to Pete Carroll was, okay, so you're not going to trade for a quarterback, but would you sign a free agent?
Ian, there's no chance I'm going to tell you anything more than what I just told you. But I love you for trying. But really, we're going to keep looking and see what's available, but only to help our club and try to make us better. If the case presents itself, we're going to be ready for it.
That if the case presents itself, we'll be ready for it. So they're talking about Baker Mayfield. If Cleveland, they're not going to trade for Baker, but if Cleveland releases Baker, he'll have really two options. Carolina, maybe I'm oversimplifying this. There could always be someone else that jumps into the fray. Do the Giants try to get in the mix with Daniel Jones? I don't know. But Baker Mayfield did say on a podcast earlier this offseason, it was the You Never Know podcast, that Seattle would, quote, probably be his most likely landing spot. Seattle, Carolina. If you're a Saints fan, you want Baker. I guess it kind of depends on what you feel about Baker Mayfield. But you kind of like to see Carolina not get an answer at quarterback and continue to scuffle. Let Baker go up to Seattle and do whatever may be there. Thursday's a big day. Thursday will be the NFL schedule release. The league is throwing a few breadcrumbs out there this week. We learned a couple, the opening week or the week 2 doubleheader schedule, a primetime schedule. We learned that this week. We know, they told us the international series last week. So you get some breadcrumbs throughout the week this week, but the full schedule release for the NFL will come on Thursday. It's always a big day because I believe, as many of you do, it's not just who you play, but when and where you play them. Playing Buffalo in the Superdome in September is a lot different than playing Buffalo in December, right? So not just who you play, but when and where you play them matters. So we'll find all that out on Thursday. And the NFL, an executive did tell Sam Farmer, the LA Times, that they had to kind of start over when Tom Brady unretired, because they had the schedule done. Well, Tom Brady unretires, and now you've got all these Bucs games that you're going to want in primetime. It just changes the complexion of so much of how the schedule would look. So we already know the Bucs are going to play a game in Munich, Germany, against the aforementioned Seattle Seahawks. But when Brady unretired, the NFL schedule makers had a lot of scurrying to do. All right, let me knock out our final break of the show, y'all. Love telling you about Relief Windows, title sponsor of our Monday shows. When we come back, Jimmy Ott will be here for a little Otter Locks. Find out what we're betting on tonight. Don't you move. It's AFR.
AFR.
Better coverage for less money. That's Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. Insurance Network of Louisiana. Stop overpaying to be underinsured. Too many of us learned the hard way last year during Ida. What our homeowners coverage was, what our storm deductible, named storm deductible is. For so many people, it wasn't a flat deductible. It was a percentage of your home's value. Like, That's a problem. That's expensive. So it's not just about saving money. It's about getting better insurance coverage as well. Let Insurance Network of Louisiana shop for free to find you better coverage for less money. Call them, 293-0450, 293-0450, 293-0450, or lainsurance.net. If it's one of those things where you're finally ready to make that call and you can't remember, do what so many people do. Text me, email me, tweet me. Hey, what's the name of the insurance company? Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450 or lainsurance.net.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
And this year, 2022, it's time to finally treat yourself. Bring your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service. You want the latest and greatest marine technology? You want to go to the place that has not one, but 2 NMEA certified techs. Family owned and operated by the Sherman family for 30 years. Front to Back is the answer in Baton Rouge for all of your custom boat needs. So head to fronttobackboatservice.com or find them on Facebook, Front to Back Boat Service.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding. Call 288-8138 or visit reliefwindows.com. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Down the stretch we come. Final segment here on a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. One thing left to do. Let's find out what we're betting on tonight. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks, presented by Bocage Barbershop in Bocage Village. Serving the Bocage, Goodwood, and Town Center area since 1959.
So we turn to the one and only, the incomparable, the often incomprehensible, the man who had rich strike and bet his entire life savings on it, Jimmy Ott. Otter, how are you?
No. Ruined my damn parade. Counting my money mid-stretch. I mean, doesn't matter who's going to finish first and who's going to finish second, and then this guy spoils the party,
I tell you what, man. That dude That dude was a badass. I want to go get drunk with that dude. I mean, he was staring down those other horses running by him. Then he saw him afterwards. He's like biting that other horse. Like, yeah. I mean, that was a monster, bro. I love that guy. That dude's got edge. Rich strike. He's like, oh, y'all put me at 80-1. Watch this. Here comes 80-1 right up your donkey.
Well, Michael Bachuk will be with us here. And now, look, like my friends at Circa it's the premier sports book in Las Vegas. But they don't do horse racing. But they'll just do the Kentucky Derby as a future bet. And so they've had it posted for about 4 months or so, and it's just a future, and it went off at 175-1. So the I mean, it went as high as 200. It went as high as 200-1, but I mean they got it. Again, it finished at 175. Yeah. So there you go, man. I mean, it's but Colucci is. Listen, the horse was claimed for $30,000 in a maiden claiming race. Okay, I mean this is Happy Gilmore winning the Masters, man. I mean, oh my goodness. Oh, I mean, but yes, so that was good. How it at the top row at the Episcopal Award ceremony, and was able to sneak in and watch the race, and I was like. It was very quiet. So how was Don Juan?
We had a good time. T-Bob asked if I would pay $1 million for Archie Manning's seed if we were to stud Archie Manning.
Great. Wonderful. All right, let's get into the game tonight. All right. You talk about a 50-50 game the other day. Went off at 2.5, the Bucks and Celtics. Right. Now all of a sudden the Celtics, the favorite to win the East coming into this round after they swept the Nets, catching 1.5. This is a tough game, man. I mean, a really tough game. All 8 of Milwaukee's playoff games have gone under the total, however. It started off at 218. This one went down as far as 212. And it's back at 213.5. Still betting the overs a little bit. Okay. So maybe a little bit of consideration to Milwaukee. This is a toss-up game. It's a very difficult one. Slightest of leans to the Celtics in what I think is sort of a must-win for them.
Okay.
Ja Morant is out for the Grizzlies tonight. It's at 9.5 right now. And, yeah, they were great. One time 20-2 without him, and then they kind of hit the skids toward the end and finished 20-5. That's the regular season. This is not the regular season. That's obvious. I know Golden State's, over 50% shooting from the three, 60% from the field, and, as a whole for the game, that's not sustainable. But this is a mismatch. And if you watch the ball games, the playoff games, they lean on Ja Morant heavily. It's he and Jaren Jackson, the only two on the team that can create for themselves. It is a big difference from the regular season to the playoffs. I'm staying with Golden State minus the 9.5 in that one. I do have a few baseball games for you tonight.
Absolutely.
All right, San Diego, Gore against Hendricks. Oh, the Cubbies. In Hendricks, after 7 pretty doggone strong innings. Seasons, rather. Last year was career high in ERA at 4.77. Over a whole point of what his career average was. This season is even worse. He's never had tremendous stuff. He's kind of a pitch-to-contact guy, but he's not getting enough ground balls, especially this year where it is pitching dominated. Peyton Hendricks here, San Diego, 19-10 without Tatis. They win in dramatic fashion with a walk-off 2-out 3-run homer to win 3-2 yesterday over Tampa Bay. I'm laying the 57 here with San Diego. And then my best bet tonight, Seattle, Chris Flexen, after 2 shaky starts, then 3 really good ones. And in those 3 starts, he's under a 2 ERA. He's one of the most valued pitchers last season. And he, because he had 3 kind of rough seasons with the Mets and then a solid season last year with the 3.61 ERA. He's kind of shaken off those 2 early starts. Remember, the abbreviated spring training was supposed to affect the pitchers the most. Against Philadelphia and Suarez, this is a better team with a better pitcher. Suarez has been mediocre at best. $1.18 is a soft price to lay. Give me the Seattle Mariners minus the 18. We've seen our first 2.5-run line that goes to the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. So one shot is finally going from 1.5 to 2.5. So They are sweating. They pull against the Dodgers every night behind the booth. So that's what we have tonight.
All right, where are you, Otter?
Rouge Creole. Rouge
All right.
Creole, big show. Roscoe and Handy are here. We also have Michael Baychop will be at the restaurant as well to recap this historic Kentucky Derby.
I'm sorry it didn't work out for you, Otter, but we had a good time.
Trash horse out of there.
1 minute remaining.
Jimmy, Game Time with Jimmy follows us in Baton Rouge. If you're not in Baton Rouge, online at 1045ESPN.com or the Game Time with Jimmy Facebook page. Thank you, Otter.
Thank you, Matt.
Be well. All right, we're brought to you by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Remember, all this month, laser hair removal. Buy 2 treatments, get 1 free. You want to be done with back hair forever? Trust me, I know all about it. Laser hair removal works. A lot of men who work at plants have to shave every day. You can laser hair remove your beard. Ladies, you want to never shave your legs again? Laser hair removal. Buy 2 treatments, get the 3rd free all this month at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Blue Bond in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffrey and Lafayette. Online at theantiagingclinics.com. Muse, what'd you learn?
Beth Torina changed ink pens and the pitching improved.
It did. Paulie, what'd you learn?
Todd Walker loves the AFR intro.
Todd Walker loves the AFR intro.
AFR.
I thought he was talking about Batman, like his song Batman. All right, getting on down the road. Remind you about Shawbills Tire and Auto Service. ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. Shawbills. Remember, you can buy tires a lot of places. But if we're talking about the best tires on the road, Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Firestone, name brand tires at wholesale prices, that's Shawbills. Go to the website, ShawbillsTire.com, ShawbillsTire.com. Website's so easy to use. Hit the promotions tab at the top. You'll see all the current deals that they have. Not only the manufacturer's offer, but also the in-house offer that they have at Shawbills. You can search and shop tires based on your vehicle's year, make, body style, all that sort of stuff. And if you need to schedule service, you can do that as well at ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Remember, Shawbills, where we keep you rolling.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has new 2022 Ram 1500 Bighorns in stock with 0% for 72 months. Shop our inventory or custom order your Ram with $2,000 bonus cash and a 1,000,000-mile warranty. The crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care. It's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.